Have you felt like a pariah all of your life?
No.
Did you ever feel like everybody else? Did you ever feel like all the other kids? Did you ever feel like you fit in?
When I was little.
When did you first start feeling different?
I'd say after my father died.
In the quiet corners of family homes, where love should live, darkness sometimes takes root. It's terrifying to imagine a child turning against their own parents. Yet it has happened. These are not just crimes, but tragedies of innocence lost and families destroyed. Welcome to Heartfelt Tales, where we uncover the darkest stories hidden behind ordinary lives. 1. Sarah Johnson. In Bellevue, Idaho, 16-year-old Sarah Johnson lived a privileged life with caring parents. But when they forbade her from seeing her 19-year-old boyfriend, Bruno Santos, her teenage love turned dark. After being caught lying and sneaking out to meet Bruno, tensions in the house escalated. Her father even warned Bruno to stay away or face the police. Just days later, on September 2, 2003, tragedy struck. Sarah took a Winchester rifle from the guest house, shot her sleeping mother in the face, and then killed her father while he showered. Investigators found the weapon, gloves, and a blood-stained bathrobe in the trash, evidence that pointed straight to Sarah. Despite denying involvement, she was convicted in 2005 and sentenced to 2 life terms without parole. Authorities believe she murdered her parents to freely be with Bruno, the love that drove her to destroy her own family. 2. Christopher Pitman. At just 12 years old, Christopher Pitman was already a troubled child. After several runaway attempts, he was placed on antidepressants, first Paxil, then Zoloft. The combination of these 2 drugs, doctors would later argue, caused hallucinations, delusions, and uncontrollable rage. Living with his grandparents in South Carolina, Christopher seemed stable until one night in November 2001. After being disciplined by his grandfather for fighting at school, Christopher waited until they slept, took his grandfather's shotgun, and opened fire on both grandparents as they lay in bed. He then doused the house in gasoline and set it ablaze before fleeing in their car. When caught, he spun a story about a stranger killing them, but soon confessed, saying they deserved to die. His defense argued the medication caused his psychotic break. The court disagreed, convicting him of 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to 30 years, later reduced to 25 after a retrial. 3. David Braum. In February 1988, 16-year-old David Braum of Rochester, Minnesota, turned his anger into a massacre. He often clashed with his strict Catholic father, but one night their argument escalated into pure hatred. Boiling with rage, David grabbed an axe from the basement, crept into his parents' bedroom, and struck his father repeatedly. Then he turned the weapon on his mother. His 13-year-old sister and 11-year-old brother were next. The next day, he bragged to his friends about killing his family. They thought he was joking until one friend alerted authorities. Police found all 4 bodies in a scene of unimaginable horror. David showed no remorse. His defense argued insanity, but the court saw clear premeditation. He was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to at least 52 years in prison, where he remains to this day. For Jake Evans. In 2012, 17-year-old Jake Evans from Texas calmly dialed 911 and confessed to murdering his mother and 15-year-old sister. His voice was steady, emotionless. In his written confession, he described how he was inspired by Rob Zombie's brutal remake of Halloween. Jake admitted he was fascinated by the way the killer felt nothing while taking lives and wanted to feel that same power. That night, he shot his mother, then turned the gun on his sister. When he realized she was still alive, he apologized while reloading before shooting her again. Later, he told investigators he had also planned to kill his grandparents and older sister. Jake was found incompetent to stand trial and spent 3 years in psychiatric care before pleading guilty. He received 45 years in prison and must serve at least half his sentence before parole. 5. Jasmine Richardson. The Richardson family murders shocked Canada in 2006. Mark and Deborah Richardson were found stabbed to death in their Alberta home. Their 8-year-old son Jacob lay dead upstairs, but their 12-year-old daughter Jasmine was missing. Police feared she'd been kidnapped, but soon discovered the unimaginable truth. Jasmine had been dating 23-year-old Jeremy Steinke, a man who claimed to be a 300-year-old werewolf. When her parents forbade the relationship, the two lovers planned a slaughter. Jasmine unlocked the back door that night, and Jeremy entered with a knife, attacking her parents as they slept. Afterwards, Jasmine stabbed her little brother, later claiming it would be cruel to let him live without their parents. The next morning, the young couple were seen laughing at a restaurant. Jasmine was sentenced to just 10 years, the maximum for her age, while Jeremy received 3 life terms. Jasmine remains the youngest person ever convicted of multiple murders in Canadian history. 6. Nehemiah Grigo. On January 19, 2013, 15-year-old Nehemiah Grigo from New Mexico committed a horrifying crime, murdering his entire family with an AR-15 rifle. He first shot his sleeping mother, then killed his younger brother, falsely comforting him before pulling the trigger. His 2 little sisters, just 5 and 2 years old, were next, shot as they hid under blankets. For hours, Nehemiah waited for his father, Greg Grigo, and killed him the moment he returned home. Later, he calmly went to church and told his girlfriend his family had died in a crash. When police questioned him, he admitted he'd fantasized about killing for weeks. 7. Zachary Davis. Zachary Davis became infamous after his chilling interview on Dr. Phil, where his emotionless demeanor terrified viewers. At age 9, he lost his father and began hearing voices he claimed belonged to his dead dad. Over the years, he grew distant and cold. On August 10, 2012, Zachary, then 15, spent a peaceful evening at the movies with his mother and brother. But that night, as his mother slept, he retrieved a sledgehammer from the basement and struck her repeatedly in the head until she was dead. He then set fire to the house, hoping to kill his brother as well. When questioned, Zachary calmly admitted everything, saying he felt nothing during the murder. He told police he'd only done what the voice of his father told him to do. Convicted of first-degree murder, he was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 51 years. 8. Kip Kinkle. In 1998, 15-year-old Kip Kinkle of Springfield, Oregon, became one of America's most notorious school shooters. After being caught with a stolen gun at school, he was suspended and sent home. His parents, disappointed and angry, threatened military school. Hours later, Kip shot his father in the back of the head, then waited for his mother to come home and killed her too. The next morning, he returned to Thurston High School armed with multiple guns and over 1,000 rounds of ammunition. He opened fire in the cafeteria, killing 2 classmates and wounding dozens before being tackled by students. Arrested with a knife still on him, Kip begged police to kill him. In a note found at his home, he wrote about the voices in his head and his inability to control them. Convicted of 4 counts of murder, he received life in prison without parole. 9. Edmund Kemper. At just 15, Edmund Kemper committed his first murders, killing his grandparents after a family argument. Diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, he was sent to a psychiatric hospital, where his high intelligence helped him manipulate doctors into releasing him early. Back home, Kemper was forced to live with his abusive mother, reigniting deep resentment. He began targeting young women, murdering and dismembering them as twisted stand-ins for her. His violent spree ended in 1973 when he brutally killed and decapitated his mother, then murdered her friend to create a false alibi. Kemper soon confessed to all his crimes. Found sane and guilty, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole, becoming one of history's most chilling and calculating serial killers. Each of these stories shows how fragile and dangerous the human mind can be. Some children became monsters shaped by rage, obsession, or pain. Behind every case lies a broken home and questions that will never rest. Evil doesn't always wear a grown man's face. It can hide behind the innocent eyes of a child. You've been watching Heartfelt Tales. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling true stories.